Welcome to Hotel Race Stories. Are we going to do a gas station race stories eventually?
Yeah, I mean this is combined. We did in Tennessee. We did the Fall Creek Falls in Spencer, Tennessee. Just to kind of give you an overview, hopped in the car, drove to Atlanta because that's how we could make the flight. Really, there was a flight out of Chattanooga, but we weren't positive we could make it, so we went in and drove to Atlanta. Hopped in a plane, flew to Grand Rapids, Michigan, rented a car, did the race in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and this time we actually stayed in a hotel after the race, which was super nice.
You'll learn about how that's a good idea.
Got up the next morning, and it was still an early flight to leave, but got up the next morning. All Eastern time zone. Everything was the same time zone, so that was kind of nice, and it was all our home time zone, so that was kind of nice. So that's kind of the overview. Let's talk about, I guess. So getting. Did you have any stories for getting to Spencer, Tennessee?
So we stayed with family. Do we?
Hey, Granddaddy. Thanks for letting us stay at your house.
So we stayed with our dad, who lives in Manchester, Tennessee, which was described as, it's not that far away.
Yeah, but we knew it was an hour and a half.
Well, I didn't know.
I knew it was.
Prior to agreeing to it, I didn't know. I knew it was not. He said, around
the corner. It's
around
just
the
around the corner.
Yeah, country mile.
Yeah.
So yes, it's an hour and a half.
It was fine.
But yeah, we got to see Granddaddy, so that worked out. So yeah, no real.
Yeah, so Sam flew. I picked him up in Atlanta, and we drove from Atlanta to our dad's house. Did we stop anywhere along the way? I don't think we did. I think we just ended up going straight there. Mm-hmm. Oh no, we stopped at Catherine's house. We stopped at our sister's house and got to see her new baby. So hey, Catherine.
Hey.
Hey, Charlie.
And Charles.
So I don't know. It was. It broke up the ride. It wasn't bad. We got there and it was fine. Got to do projects when we got to Granddad's house. Did a little bit of filming. Fixed up his grill.
That's this grill, not this. Just want to make sure everybody understands what we're talking about here.
We were helping him convert his gas grill from propane to natural gas. It wasn't that hard. All right, so we probably stay up later than we should, watching videos and talking, which is kind of important because we got up at 3:30.
3:30.
Was that when the alarm went off? 3:30. Got up at 3:30. Got dressed. Did not wake up Granddaddy, but did wake up Pam. Sorry, Pam. Had our lucky. Did we have Lucky Charms? We had Lucky Charms.
She had provided Lucky Charms. This was the first hostess, because we're not giving Granddaddy any credit for that.
Yeah.
That actually provided the preferred breakfast cereal of the Iron Fam. She's getting a great Yelp review out of this, and we'll give her 5 stars.
If y'all don't know by now, that's typically we've been eating pizza the night before the race, if we can. Sometimes, but anyway, pizza's kind of the usually, and then Lucky Charms the morning of the race. That's our pre-race breakfast is Lucky Charms. So it was nice to be able to have that, and hopped in the car, drove the hour and a half, and we were not the first people there this time.
No.
I'm trying to think. Where did we park? This was Fall Creek Falls. Oh, it was muddy. It was muddy. It had rained, and so we did get a preferred spot because we knew we were going to have to take the bikes apart right after the race. So there was a basketball court, so we kind of pulled up and backed into the basketball court. Basically, you pulled out into this field and you could park anywhere you wanted. But it was kind of muddy because it had rained the night before. And then
it was very muddy.
Yeah, so
we'll cover that
so anyway, we backed up to the basketball court so we'd have a hard surface to put our bikes back together. So that was nice. It was still dark. We had already put our bikes together because you put your bikes together. Yeah. So all we had to do was hop off and go check in and set up transition and all that. But on the way, as you're walking from the car to transition, it's muddy and your feet get soaked and muddy. And
Yeah, it's dark. There's no lights.
Yeah.
So it's Fall Creek Falls. It's a very local triathlon. And so I'm following Billy's tire tracks. And I'm feeling pretty good about it until whoosh, I didn't lose a shoe, but the entire shoe was engulfed in puddle. I was like, oh man. So I guess at least both of us had soaking wet shoes.
Because I'd gotten there right before.
But I was paying attention because I was, if he stepped in something, I would assume he would have
Swerved.
shifted around. No, sir. So we were doing a double this weekend. It was a good thing I started out with soaking wet shoes. I was super excited about that.
So we're at the race, and this is the one where the swim's like forever way down that paved road.
Huge hill.
And so we can see the race official. So we talked to her and tell her we're going to send her some paperwork stuff. And the swim start is forever away from transition. So transition's in the same grassy type field. It's not.
It's also muddy.
Yeah, and it was muddy too. And this is a local race, so it's not it's not huge. It wasn't a whole thousands of people in it. There were a few hundred, I would say, total, including the half and the Olympic and the sprint.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we get down. So we set all that stuff up, and we're going down. And they're talking about rain, thunder showers, blah blah blah. Thunder showers are going to close. We're, if there's thunder, if there's lightning during the race, we're going to shut down the race. And we're like, oh man, no, not again. This is Des Moines all over again.
Oh man.
So we get down to the swim, which is forever away from transition down this paved road, and it's foggy. So now they're delaying the start of the swim.
We have to go to Atlanta.
And
it's not like the plane changes.
Yeah, the plane's not going to change times. So it's foggy. The fog starts to lift. He's making the announcements or whatever, and he's like, all right, we're going to start. And so the way this race started was they put people in the water, and then they mashed some little button, and it said, "Doot," and then everybody took off from in the water. So the first wave gets in the water, and as they're in their water, he's like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, and the fog just keeps
getting worse.
So what they did was they were waiting until you could see the buoys way out in the distance, and so you could see them, and they put everybody in the water, and then we're getting in the water, or the people in front, they get in the water, the fog comes in, you can't see those buoys anymore. And everybody takes off, and so we're like, well, they're not going to stop it now, because it was going to be another hour before it lifted again,
man.
at least.
It wasn't so bad because we were able to see it when I was coming back. It had pretty well lifted after I'd turned the two buoys and was on
that was 30 minutes later.
It was not soon, and as soon as I get in the water, I could not see the first sighting buoy.
No, I was following the people in front of me, and I was hoping they knew where they were going. But it didn't matter. We were racing.
I was super thankful they didn't delay the race for that, because that was Arizona last weekend. They did.
Yeah.
That was great.
So swam around the buoys, came back in, and it was another one of those slippery boat ramp things again. You had to kind of pick your spot and not bust your butt. You get out and you have to run. I mean, it's at least a quarter of a mile, wasn't it? Maybe
yes.
Even more than that.
Easily a quarter mile. There was a spot for shoes. So if you'd done this race before, you knew this was an issue. You brought shoes to. It was that long of a run that was worth putting on the shoes. The people that I saw putting on shoes was absolutely worth it.
I didn't even see the spot for shoes.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a small race. I'd say dozens of shoes over to your right.
People knew what was up. All right, well, we didn't know what was up, so we're running barefoot up this asphalt road.
No, I was worse than that. I had the flip flops, and they were disintegrating underneath my feet. So I gave up halfway through.
How did you know to bring shoes?
I didn't. I just had flip-flops that I was willing to throw away because they were going to disintegrate under my feet. I didn't think I was making a two-way trip.
Okay.
I didn't. They fell apart.
So you get up into transition. You're sitting in. Again, these thunderstorms are coming in, and we're thinking, they're saying they're going to cancel the race. We're thinking, hey, we need to get through with the bike and onto the run before the lightning gets here, because if we're on the run, I don't think they're going to pull us off the course. But maybe they were. I don't know what was going to happen, but I just know I didn't want to get stopped out on the bike
On the
because
bike.
if you got stopped on the bike, there was no way for you to restart. They weren't going to like put you in a van and take you back out to wherever you stopped. So
Yeah.
hop on the bike, and at some point it starts raining. I don't remember when that was.
I remember exactly when that was. We were actually inside of the park.
Oh,
when
so
it starts-
coming back in?
Yeah, we're
That's-
coming back in.
Okay,
So we had timed that.
yeah,
really
so
well.
so out on the bike, did our stuff or whatever,
Yeah,
come back in.
This was some weird turnarounds on this race. I was not a huge fan of this bike course.
But the roads were fine. I mean, I don't remember it being like crazy roads.
Yeah,
and,
roads were fine.
And we actually, I think I averaged like 18.6 or something, which is like super fast for. We're doing 2 races, so we're not supposed to be going that fast. I mean, usually a 16 is what I'm wanting to hit.
I'm gonna tell Coach Carl.
Yeah, but we need to get that done. So this was the race where I started behind you and caught you and we
Yeah,
rode together.
you
Is
caught
that
me on the
deal?
bike, we rode.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, we rode back in together. Oh, we're riding back into the park together, and the dude right in front of me, we had kind of passed each other. We'd pretty much been riding together the whole time, but he was, I don't know, maybe 100 yards, 200 yards in front of me. He goes off the road and into the grass. And I mean, I'm telling you, I'm watching him and I'm going,
He
I'm gonna have to find a phone because we're fixing to dial 911. This
Yes.
dude, I mean, there's one thing if you just pull off into the grass and you stop. I mean, because that's the proper way to do it. You pull off into the grass, you don't hit your brakes or anything. You just kind of coast until you stop, put your feet out, walk your bike over to the road and stop back. No, this dude was gonna try to get back on the road,
Never ends well.
and I mean, he made it. I don't know how he made it. But I saw him. He goes off the road and back on the road, and so I saw him on the run, and I was like, "Man, that was an awesome save." He's like, "Did you see that?" I said, "Yeah, man, I saw all of that." He said, "All I did was look down for a minute, and I'm off the road." And I'm like, "Yeah." So I thought we were about to call the ambulance on you. He's like, "I don't know how I saved it, but I did."
Oh man, these are time trial bikes, and so your tires
Yeah.
are tiny.
And I mean, the grass is wet.
Yeah, everything's soaked.
And it wasn't like it was a smooth transition from
this
the
is
road to the grass. I mean,
rural, and so you have ditches are catching that road water.
I don't
Yeah,
know how he
that's
made it, but he did, and I
bad
saw him on
deal.
the run. So we come in, and it starts pouring down rain on us as we're going into transition, which is fine because it's pouring down rain and it's not lightning. I mean, granted, we would have preferred that it not pour down rain because it got everything wet. Shoes were soaking, socks were soaking, everything was soaking wet. Head out onto the run. Is that? I mean, you got any other bike stories?
So
Oh,
I got a mechanical issue. This is a cleat to your bike. So our shoes are snapped in to the pedals so that you can get power on the up and the down, or you could get power. I'm still not very good at it. But there is supposed to be a lip on the front where you lock in, and we'll zoom in here. That's gone. So several times my shoe was coming out, and I've got the Achilles is still bothering me. So it was, of course, hitting my ankle at my Achilles. The solve
yes,
for
you,
that.
you need to check your cleats.
It sure is a good thing that this happened at the beginning of a double race. That way I could fix it. So yes, make sure you're checking your equipment before.
Did you
it
have
has
an
a
extra
problem.
cleat? How did you fix it?
I didn't. I sucked it up for 2 races.
Oh, okay, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, and now I have new cleats. So I had a great reminder to fix that.
I guess when you're checking equipment, that's something you gotta check too. I hadn't even looked at mine. It'll
Yeah.
probably be these next races. that mess me
I'm
up.
praying for your ankle.
All right, so heading on to the run.
You were killing it on the run on this one.
Yeah, I don't. It was cool. I like cold races.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't cold, but it was cooler. What I don't like is the hot races.
So yeah, it starts. It is pouring in transition, and it's pouring at the start of the run, but that stops.
Yeah.
It does not rain the entire run.
No, it doesn't. And it's so you run through the park, you go through some trails, down some roads. There's an out and back, at least one, maybe two. You go down some stairs. So you cross the dam. So first of all, you go down this steep hill to the dam, You cross the dam and you go do this loop, and then you go back across the dam. And I'm looking at that like, oh,
we
I gotta run up
this.
that hill again and then back down because it's a 2-loop course. So
Yeah.
you run up the hill and then run back down and then do it again and up the hill. And you get right across the dam and it kind of curves around and there's a little sign that says turn around.
Turn around right here at the bottom.
Right at the bottom, so you didn't have to do it. So you
Oh,
go back across the
appreciate
dam and do it again. But in there along the way was probably this one section that had maybe 200 yards of steps. So you had to. I didn't even run them. I think I kind of walked, jogged.
Yeah, I
them or
mean,
whatever.
they were
steep steps.
Steep steps,
No handrail.
and no handrail, and then I don't think they were super slick, but they looked like they could have been.
They were
They're
kind of greenish.
heavily shaded. So the guy that I started running with showed me the trick, and you just got off the steps and ran down the woods to the left of the stairs. Ha ha, sucker! So watch our videos, get inside tips on very small races.
I ran the steps both times.
Oh
so,
man! So the first I was trying the steps, and then I just see this whoosh. Oh, so yeah, there's a little path to the left.
Okay.
So yeah, there was our trick of the day.
So I didn't. We rode the bikes together, and I figured that I was going to finish a pretty good bit ahead of you. So my plan was just to go ahead and do bikes. And you actually finished a lot faster than I thought you would. Because was I even finished with my bike by the time you got finished?
No, you were still working on your bike.
Yeah. So anyway, good for you. I wasn't there. I wasn't there at the finish line for you, man. If I was, I could have told you, "Hey, man, run on the hill. Don't run in the middle."
Oh man!
Because as you're running towards the finish line, it's kind of in this little depression or whatever. And if you just run straight, you get deeper and deeper in the mud as you go through it.
So I was running down the hill. So I was coming along the hill, and then I see it was about to wash out in front of me. So I tried to cross across to where the other, it's the finish line chute. So they've got the other side blocked. So it's like, it looks like a little knoll, and it looked pretty good. And I came up there, and my just stepped up, and my leg is just engulfed in mud. And I splash mud. I didn't lose a shoe or anything. But we've got to get on an airplane tonight.
Sure do.
I mean, my shoe is caked in mud, and my leg is caked in mud. I was planning on taking a shower anyway, but son of a Oh yeah.
So we got muddy.
Always
Even the
fun.
car got muddy. But we what was really lucky for us was that it was nice and sunny. I mean, it would have been better if it was overcast, I guess. But it was nice and sunny when we put our bikes back in the bag, so we could actually wipe them down, kind of clean them up a little bit, dry them off, whatever, get them in the bags, get them in the car. I mean, is there any stories about the finish line or anything that we need to talk about? I mean, other than just getting muddy.
No. I had, this was a lot of fun as far as, local races usually have fewer people, but they tend to be nicer. Because
The people themselves, because you're not really competing.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
you
not
are.
trying to get. Well, I guess I'm already at the back of the pack to start with, but nobody's trying to get to Kona or whatever
World
70.3
Championships.
Worlds. Ironman. It's just more competitive. It's the people that race Ironman, even in the back of the race, are just focused on the race, which is probably the right way to race.
Then you step up, and the people that race challenge races are only the people who have won Ironman races. Those people are bored with Ironman races
Now
because
they're-
the competition's not stiff enough, so they all get together and go do a challenge race.
So I had a lot of fun. I talked to a lot of people, a few people, but given the size of the race, a lot of people. So lots of interesting people. So hello to everybody. I'm glad you're watching. I appreciate it.
All right, so we finish up the race. We're putting bikes together. Hop in the car. We've got a limited amount of time to get to Atlanta, but we're doing pretty well. We head down the road, and we're looking on the phone for truck stops because we are
truck stop people. Yeah, it didn't. The conversion didn't take long. It's incredible. But the conversion didn't take long because they're actually really great.
So this is how we stop at a Pilot, and I pull into the back, and I'm like, Sam, go see if they have showers ready, because the last time we stopped at the truck stop, we had to wait for 30 minutes. Well, this time we didn't have 30 minutes that we could wait.
No.
But as cheap as I am, he's like, you know, we can just get 2 showers. I'm like, man, that's $13 a piece. Just you go first, and I'll take a quick shower or whatever. And he comes out, and he's like, hey, man, I got you a shower. And I was like, okay, so you coming in after me? He's like, no, I got me a shower too. I've already paid for it. We got these 2 rooms right here.
It's $13. Yeah. So
I know, it was $13, man. We could have saved $13. But he gave me the better shower because mine had towels and stuff in it. I think they forgot to put towels.
Yeah, I had a bring your own towel situation for mine, which was convenient because I had brought my own towel. But yeah,
so these showers were a little bit different. The last truck stop I went to had a tub and it was kind of a bigger room. These were a little bit smaller rooms, maybe 8 by 8 or something similar to that. Still had its own toilet and a sink and a little kind of stoolish area. It was kind of tiled into the wall,
yeah.
and then just the shower though, no tub, and only shampoo, not shampoo and body wash or whatever.
Yeah, the other one had a key to get into the door, and so you'd leave your license to go, then return the key and get your license back. This one just had a punch code, so Pilot has got that deal figured out. But what was fascinating was we were in North Georgia. The rate was $13. We were in
Arizona,
Phoenix, Arizona. The rate is $13. So you know, with our in of 2, apparently $13 is going rate.
I will let you know on the next one, I guess.
All right.
But truck stop was good. I mean, you know, you take a shower as long as you wanted. We got cleaned up, got on the road, headed to the airport. Got to the airport in plenty of time, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, no issues. Got some food. Too.
I think we got to security right at the airport. We got to security right when they were doing a shift change, so it took us a little bit longer to get through security than it should have.
Oh man! So I'm flying out of Jacksonville, where I walk up to the Delta counter, you know, check my bags.
They say, "Hello, Mr. Crozier. It's good to see you again."
I walk up to security. I'm shaking that man's hand yet, but I'm number 2 deep in line, and then you walk on through. And then so we're doing this, and I'm waiting in line. We're waiting in line to check in our bags. Man, this is terrible. What in the world is going on?
And I've got Atlanta figured out. I know exactly where to go to get to through the fastest stuff in Atlanta, and it was relatively fast that we went through, other than the shift change thing. And Sam's like, dude, and I'm like, dude.
So levels of expectations fly out of when you fly out of Atlanta. It takes a little longer, and just accept that.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. So we fly to Grand Rapids.
Yeah, we get to Grand Rapids, and so in between getting to Atlanta and Grand Rapids, we had reserved our rental car, and apparently, it's very important if you're going to show up to a rental car place late that you put in your flight information. Because if you put in your flight information, then they know, oh, he's on this flight. This flight doesn't get in until this time. Well, I'll wait on him. The reason I know that is because Charlotte had called the rental place and finally got in touch with the super nice Midwestern lady who said, yes, I'll wait on them, but please tell them to put the flight information in next time so that we'll know. And she did. I mean, it was we got there at like 11:30 or something. I think they closed at 11. So we were kind of nervous about that because we had to have the car. But she was super nice, and we actually, when we turned the car in the next day, she was there too. So we got to say hey to her. But we got to Grand Rapids, got to the car, and then
stopped by Walgreens.
Yeah, and what did we get? We got some. Well, I know we got some lemon heads. That was the first time I found some lemon heads in a while. And,
been searching for lemon heads for like 5 races, which I guess for us is like a week. But
not lemon drops. I mean, I wanted the lemon heads.
Yeah.
It's different than lemon drops. Everybody had lemon drops, but nobody had all the lemon heads. I guess since it's so hot, they all kind of melt together. So people will have them, but you shake the box and they're not loose. They're all like glued together, so you don't want
a giant lemon head.
So anyway, we got some lemon heads at Walmart. I mean, at Walgreens.
We got the
Gatorade.
Gatorade,
we didn't get Pop-Tarts. So our preferred breakfast is Lucky Charms, but this we weren't going to be able to have Lucky Charms.
Milk was going to be an issue.
Yeah, so we got Pop-Tarts. And then went and headed to the parking lot where the shuttle was going to come.
So this was a pretty good idea. And by that I mean terrible idea. But, given no hotel was super close, and by the time it takes a while to check in and put all your stuff in, blah blah blah. And so the theory was sleep in the car, get more sleep. I mean, that was the theory.
I mean, the last week we got a little over an hour. I think I got an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half of sleep. This time we were actually going to get more than that. But
so
I mean, why check into a hotel if you're only going to sleep for an hour? Because I mean, we'd be the
Paying for
flight
the whole
leaves.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the theory. Was hey, we'll just sleep in the car. It worked out fine-ish.
No.
Last time.
So, worked out fine. Given what little sleep we had, it worked out fine.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody parked under a street light. So this time we fixed the street light problem by parking in as dark an area as we could find. As it turns out, that was Arizona, Flagstaff, Arizona, a lot cooler than Grand Rapids, Michigan.
So we go to sleep. At some point,
There's not sleeping. It's like
at some
laying
point,
and tossing.
Sam's reaching over me. It's a push button start car, and he's over there pushing the button to start the car. And then he reaches over me to to crack the windows. And I'm kind of okay, whatever. And then a little bit later, I get hot too. And so I'm like, all right, well, let me cut the car back on. So when you cut the car back on, the lights
are on.
I cut the car back on to roll the windows down some more because they were only 3 or 4 inches. And I look over at Sam, and he's got nothing on but underwear.
So before I started the car, I had taken off. You've got an undershirt, and I had my overshirt I took off. And then I took off my undershirt. So I'm standing, I had pants on to start with. So I roll down the windows and I'm still hot. So man, I just lost the pants. We're in a school parking lot. I don't know. That might be some federal crimes going on there.
So the windows are now, halfway down or whatever. And I'm trying to go back to sleep. I mean, the light, we finally got, I think I had cracked the back door or something where the lights stayed on for a little while.
Yeah, you got back in.
And finally closed the back door. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm hot too. So I take off all my clothes and my underwear. So there's 2 dudes in this school parking lot in their underwear.
In the dark part of the I am just so happy that a policeman didn't stop by and decide to start asking questions.
And just have a light shining in our thing. He'd be looking at us and we'd be like, yeah, we're here for the race.
Yeah. All sweaty. I don't know. It gets worse and worse for us.
I did get some sleep though.
So finally, Billy has this brilliant idea. The car has air conditioning. It's unbelievable. You turn it on, and magically cool air blows
Did we
across.
crank up the car?
Yeah, you
I don't
did.
even remember that.
That was the last hour, and so I was anticipating getting 3 hours of mediocre sleep, and instead I got 2 hours of interrupted sleep and 1 hour of mediocre sleep.
So it's our alarms go off at some point. Did the alarm go off or did the truck drive in first?
There together.
Around the time that our alarm went off, which I think was 4:30. Is that what we decided? So we still needed to put the bikes together. And we still needed to change clothes and everything. So
we're in a school parking lot, and we've got clothes from the airplane on.
Yeah. So anyway, we wake up. Yeah, we wake up and there's a truck that pulls in and he kind of backs into still has his lights on forever. And we're kind of lonely out here and everything. When you open the door, it cuts on the overhead light. Does it cut on the headlights too?
Just overhead lights.
Just overhead lights. So anyway, so you open the door and he can see us or whatever.
At least what he can see is neither of us have shirts on.
Yeah. So we're like, all right, well, the first thing we need to do is put our tri-suits on. Because before anybody else shows up in the parking lot, we need to have some clothes on. So put our tri-suits on, and then I think we moved the car.
We did.
We moved up the car to where the lights were, and ended up putting our bike together. By the time we were putting our bikes together, a lot of other people started showing up. In fact, even the first shuttle bus had gone off.
Left, yeah.
we got our bikes put together. We have everything. We're ready to go. We walk up to the shuttle bus with our bike, and that lady was like, "Oh, you can't take your bike on the bus." And Sam's looking at her like, and mind you, everybody had checked in the day before. We were the only people there with bikes.
Yeah.
And Sam was like, "Well,
what do we do?
How do we get our bikes to the race?" And she was like, "Well, I guess you ride them." And we were like, "All right, I guess we'll ride them. How do we get there?" And she said, "Well, it's down by Starbucks. Do you know where Starbucks was?" "Ma'am, we got to Grand Rapids for the very first time about 3 hours ago."
Yes.
"No, we don't know where Starbucks is." "Well, you come out of here and you go here and you go here and you go here." And we're like,
yeah, that was the third direction in. I swear there was a rock in the directions somewhere. You're going to see a rock, you're going to take a right. If you take a left, yeah, it was like that.
Yeah. And so what it felt like to me was it wasn't close. So we go to the bus behind her. And we're like, "Hey, can we put bikes on your bus?"
The first bus said whatever school system,
School district,
something school district, and the second one said so-and-so transportation.
You know, like Dean Transportation
Yeah.
or something. It's like a private company. We're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, maybe the private people let us put on it." She was like, "Sure, bring them on here." And so we're putting
In
our
the
bikes
process
on
of it.
and the lady in front radios to the lady in back, "Hey, no bikes on the buses." And she was like, "Oh, okay, no bikes on buses." Well, y'all are already on here, so it'll be all right.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
I said, "We'll be real quiet. We'll sit in the back." Turns out we were the only ones that rode on that bus.
Yeah.
She was trying to figure out where they were changing the turnaround spot or something, and so anyway, we got there with our bikes,
Which was a good thing because
those roads were pitch black and we'd have never made it.
no, we were definitely getting pinged by a bus.
It was,
So there was no bike lane. It was not set up.
and
for
there were
that.
like 15 different turns.
It's
We
not-
never have figured out those
Not
turns.
like we had, there's no blinking red lights. There's no safety. We're just out on our own.
Oh, yeah. So
So
yeah, that was
huge.
Liam.
Thank you to whoever that transportation system was
Yeah,
and that particular bus driver.
Yeah, Dean Transportation. Super
so,
nice
yeah.
there. Get to the parking lot, and so as we're walking our bikes through the parking lot, I have some lady stop me. "Hey, where did you park?" At the school. Or she said, "Hey, are you just checking your bikes in?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're coming to race." She's like, "Oh, where'd you park?" "At the school." She was like, "At the school? I thought they weren't supposed to have bikes on the buses or something like that." I was like, so we're just going to, she's like, "I just want to make sure you weren't parked in the parking lot because there people will tow you or whatever." So
Yeah.
anyway, I guess there really was a rule that bikes weren't supposed to be on
On
buses.
the buses. So lesson learned, I guess.
Get to transition, and they know exactly who we are as soon as we walk up, and we're walking up together.
We walk up together, and Lori, I don't know what her position is, but basically in charge of making sure everything's going right. The person who really does the behind the scenes work. Are you two the brothers?
Matter of fact, we are.
We are infamous. I don't know if that's infamous good or infamous bad, but hey, good press, bad press doesn't really matter.
All right, she's checking us in, and she's showing the lady who's checking us in how to check us in, and we were like, do you need to see our ID and our USAT card and all that kind of stuff. And she was like, "Oh, these guys." She was showing the lady how to do it. She's like, "But they're gonna have their stuff together. They're going after a goal." Kind of like what's the lady's name from Jacksonville?
Oh, Susan Haig.
Susan Haig. Yeah, they're kind of like Susan Haig. So just to be mentioned in the same sentence as Susan Haig, we know we have made it.
So, hey, man, and, right beneath her is really Susan Haig and then us. I'll take it. That's a win.
Man. Yeah, just like Susan Haig. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to use that
Yeah.
next time I see Susan Haig. Did you even see her in the race?
I never saw her. She DNF'd. She had a bike problem. So, yeah, bummer. She got timed, had a tire issue. And so timed out on the bike.
Bummer.
Yeah, that's tough. So she's still a good time. Still had a good time, but so yeah, that was then go to transition. It was the entertainment value was higher last week. I feel like with we raced in Tennessee, and I think that was a more reasonable.
It was too close, man. It was racing in Seattle and racing in Arizona. We got a lot of no, you did.
That's not.
This
that
one,
ain't
it was
right.
like we raced in Tennessee. Now we're racing in Michigan. Oh, okay.
Hey, it was still a little. You did 2 races in a row, and not so much the distance. So,
Yeah.
we'll fix that next time. racing in California and Maine. Show you, but yeah, it was that was interesting. So we met some first timers. They were excited.
It was a big local race. I mean, for a local race, it was big.
So yes,
1,000 people maybe. I mean, it was.
I don't think it had that many. It easily had the capacity to handle that.
Okay.
But yet, the way the numbers. So you had, I don't remember. We were what 5,000s. So it was like 3,000 was something, 4,000 was something, and so you see that and you're like, oh, there's going to be a lot of people. But it didn't go super deep into that. So it was a clever way of making sure you never ran out of numbers for each particular spot. But yeah, noticed on the bike racks that we had our own tags, right?
Yeah, our name.
Number 50, blah, 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 with Samuel Crozier underneath. That was super cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So, swim.
I mean, yeah, swim
stories.
Yeah, so on the swim, my favorite. Well, I got a couple of stories. So there's basically two turns. You go out and to the left to a triangle, and you make a hard turn and come back in. I mean, you might call that last little thing a turn, but I think it was pretty much just coming in. So after nothing really important other than all the wetsuit people who started way behind us were passing me on that leg. Took a left, went around to the U-turn. As I go around the U-turn, there's one of the lifeguards was on a paddle board, and he had the like the neck brace, like where you would if somebody is hurt or whatever, and you're fixed to take them out. He had situated the neck brace around his head, and he had his feet kind of crossed, and he was taking a nap as I was going by. I'm like, well, I guess you had the paddleboard there that somebody could swim to if they needed a break or whatever.
Right. If they grab it, it's going to wake him up.
He was bored, I guess.
And they got to have lifeguards at the Olympics. If you've made it out that far, you're making it back. He's on the return journey. Like, dude, it's faster for you to just go ahead and go on back.
I did not hear him snoring, but he looked like he was asleep.
It could have been.
So I keep going in, so the sighting going in wasn't that great. You were supposed to be looking for this little blow up guy that was like what you would see at a used car dealership. One of the guys that waves his arm all the time. I couldn't ever really see him, but after I don't know where these people came from. Maybe from the Olympic buoy or something. But there were these like boats. And it was the boats with the special needs people in them that were, I don't know how they were swimming, but they were going about my speed. So I just followed them. I'm not just swimming behind the boat. I figure they're above the water. They know exactly where they're going. They have to be in a straight line, right? So I passed the first one, which it took me forever to pass them. But then there was a second one, and I followed the second one all the way in. So that was the easiest sighting that I had, because I guess whoever they were coming up behind was going to move out of the way, because it was a pretty big boat. Relative to swimmers.
Okay, so let me just make sure that I'm clear on here. That person was swimming, towing a boat, holding another person, going your speed.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Exactly. I passed the first one.
Where?
The first one I passed.
The one you passed.
The second one I didn't, but the first one had to come in right behind me.
I want to make sure that's clear, because I've got a story. But
okay.
you go, keep going.
No, that was it. That was my story.
So I'm starting out on the swim, and I'm faster than Billy on the swim every time.
Every single time.
So I'm a better swimmer.
Just a better person, really, overall as well.
Well, I didn't have to say that, but since so the man with the boat and the person in it was beating Billy. I'm out on the bike, and suddenly I ride up behind Billy. Billy beat me on the swim.
I did not beat you on the swim. I think I beat you in transition. I think I smoked you.
I'm going with you. You beat me in the swim.
Did you see the boats?
I did see boats.
Were they in front of you or behind you?
There were definitely boats in front of me. So
maybe I beat you on this.
Yeah, I was having Charlie horse problems. I was my
okay.
leg was cramping on the swim. So yeah, let me go ahead and work on my Obviously, it's not me. I got some dietary problems. Oh yeah, no man, my leg was acting up. But so my only goal in life is not to get past on the bike. I fail miserably because every time it's between mile 20 or mile 40. Somewhere in that realm, I'm going to see the white flash go right by me. And because I'm talking and having a good time. But
I do not talk to very many people on the bike.
Yeah.
Other than saying, something like, "Are we there yet?"
On your left is pretty much what you're saying. Oh, so yeah, man, I came up behind him.
And he kept going. I mean,
I'm having a tough day.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was actually feeling okay on the bike. I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah, man, you left me. You were gone. I was just doing my race. I didn't want to go too fast. I mean, there wasn't a danger of this race being canceled, so I felt like, I needed to have some energy for the run.
So you came in transition really close behind me. We were right there.
And I didn't spend nearly as much time putting sunscreen on as you did. So I think we left transition together, didn't we?
Yes.
Or pretty close. I mean, but I don't know. At some point you were talking to Krista on the run.
Yes.
I think I ran it behind you. I think that's what it was.
Yes.
I think you left transition before me. I ended up catching you probably
kept me,
around mile 1.
No, it was on that hill because I was struggling out of there. So Achilles is still hurting, and we start out on a hill. And so, once it gets warmed up, it's less bad. That's my purely doctor scientific speak.
Dr. Crozier.
Yes, I've seen Dr. Crozier, and he said it's fine, keep going. So that first hill, I was hurting, and Krista catches up to us, and she ran with us for the first 6 miles. She put up with us. I can't believe it.
I don't know that she ran with us as much as we ran with hers, because we did that first 6 miles a lot faster than I thought that we would have or even should have. Because I mean, I was tired. I mean, I wasn't nearly as bad as the week before. But I was tired, and so I had planned on doing a whole bunch of walking. But it was overcast, and it was nice, and she was super friendly to talk to. We got to tell stories or whatever. So before we knew it, we were halfway through, and that felt pretty good. And I made the comment of, "Hey, it's overcast. This sure is nice," and that was the kiss.
Oh
of death.
Man! As soon as he said it, to be fair, we were all thinking it. So I'm sure that those vibes moved clouds. But man, that sun came out, and it was a different race.
I do not do well in the heat, and I don't recover as well as Sam either. And so he's running with Krista, and we did like a walk run. And then, probably within a quarter of a mile or a half a mile of the sun coming out, I was just like, I can't keep doing this. And so they kind of ran on, and I was still walking, and they stopped and were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "All right, I'm all right. My knee's kind of wonky. Y'all keep going." And so Sam, I don't remember how, and she ended up leaving.
Yeah.
But Sam was nice enough to run with me for almost the whole rest of the race.
Not that nice. So the way that this one worked out, I would take longer so I would run up and get to the water stations before you, and then do whatever I was doing.
What do you do at the water station?
I run with a water bottle, and so I'm taking the cap off. I'm filling it up, and then after I empty it, I put in a new gel or a new tailwind and mix. So yeah, I'm.
So you're in the kitchen when you get to the aid station. You're in the kitchen.
I thought
on that run. On that run, they had a booth set up with a massage table. I thought you had stopped to get you a in-race massage or something.
Hey man, they were offering. I'm in. But yeah, so Billy would pass me, and then I'd have to run to catch up. We would run together for a little bit, and then there was a walk run, and then I would get back to the thing, and then he'd come back charging again. So
there was no charging involved.
So yeah, that last couple of miles, mile and a half maybe. I felt pretty good, so I jogged it all the way out.
Yeah, that very last mile, I don't think I saw him stop because I could see him, but there was no way that I was going to catch him. So, yeah, I think you definitely didn't stop running. So good for you. Finished strong.
Oh man. So I was looking forward to a hotel room that night. Oh man, so much.
So we had. Is there anything else for the race?
This was an interesting end of race experience for us. So yeah, I don't know nothing else.
Yeah,
Finish
remember the bikes can't go on the bus, so we had to go we had to leave the bikes in transition, go take the bus to our car, drive our car back to the parking lot where we weren't supposed to park, go get our bikes, come back, take our bikes apart, put them in the car. In all of that, mind you, that there's a full distance race going on. So these people are going to be there for another 6 or 8 hours. I mean, they weren't going anywhere.
The happiest part of that race was on the bike, and we're coming back, and there's the turnaround for the full loop.
Somebody else is doing it.
I got to keep going.
Yeah. Knowing that they're only halfway done.
Oh, man.
And not having to do that run 4 loops. Yeah. So we get our... Did we get our bikes? In the middle of getting our bikes, we talked to the announcer for a long time.
Yeah, that was what did we? We had to come back to get a picture with the race director.
Okay, so we'd already taken our bikes apart. We were putting them up.
Yeah, that was our first real big race
and
interview.
We weren't really in a hurry to go anywhere because our flight didn't leave till the next morning. I mean, we wanted to get to the hotel and get a shower and stuff, but I mean, it wasn't like we were rushed to get to the airport. So mind you, this is the announcer that announces everybody going across the finish line or whatever, and there's only a few people going across every few minutes or whatever. So he's calling out people's names like he knows
them. Yes.
Yeah, he's like, oh, there's so and so and so and so coming across, finishing strong.
Something about German, yeah.
Yeah.
Like new details about the people. That's the fun part about local races for certain. But he knew her name. He's talking to us, and he's away from his booth, so he's away from his sheets, and hey, this is runner da 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 da. He looks and sees her and calls out her name and said something about German. It's like new details without having to look at his sheet. It was hilarious.
The fastest German in the race or something like that. Yeah. He's like, I know that because you're the only person that I know that's German. Those kinds of things.
Super friendly guys.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to be out there for 12 or 14 hours or whatever talking, you got to talk about something. So he got to talk with us about 5 or 10 minutes about what we were doing. But his response though, he was like, okay, you're doing the work. Oh, that's great. How many is the world record? 24. Oh, that's not all that many.
Yeah. See, and that's the same trap that got us. That's an achievable number. That's totally reasonable. Yeah, that's only one every couple of weeks. Not every weekend. There's 2 most weekends. But yeah.
So that was fun. Got to get pictures with Lori and Krista and John.
The Johns.
One of the Johns. So that was. That was pretty cool to talk to everybody after the race. You got any other stories for after race?
No, it's always fascinating to me the difference between Ironman, where they're patting you down to make sure that you're getting your bike out of transition. Which is secured by stickers. Right. So their security is that you've placed these stickers that match your race number on your bike, because it's not possible at all to pull them off and put them on somebody else's bike, which is now going to happen to me that I've put that.
Yeah, this guy was like, what number do you have written on your arm?
Yeah.
Okay, well that matches your bike, so you go ahead.
Which was good because I had sweated it out, so it was just 4 blobs is actually what was written on my arm. But But I appreciate that they were trying,
making an effort.
But so nobody. If you show up and you're nicely showered, shaved, you're probably not going to get your bike out of there. I'm sorry, you obviously didn't do this race. But yeah, so this time we stayed in a hotel. Oh man, that was amazing stuff.
All right, so walk me through this. We leave the race. Grand Rapids, the race wasn't that far from the hotel, which wasn't that far from the the airport. In fact, okay, so we go. This was the lot. No, not the lodge. The plaza. This was the plaza.
The Plaza.
The Plaza Hotel. The Plaza Hotel was a jam up, super nice hotel 30 years ago. Still, it's a nice hotel, but not. Everything's
past
30 years
its
old.
prime.
Yeah. But they had a nice shuttle. So we took the rental car. We went, unloaded, showered, took the rental car back to the airport, which is where it goes, and then took the shuttle back to the hotel, and then took the hotel shuttle the next morning. That way, pro tip, you only had to keep the rental car for a day, because if you take it back and you use the airport shuttle, you don't need it for 2 days.
Another pro tip: make sure the hotel shuttle is a real shuttle. We have discovered that sometimes it says hotel shuttle, and what they mean is they have one, but it's the broken down van in the back. Other times, hotel shuttle means you can pay $15 for our shuttle per person for our shuttle.
Or it could be the night clerk's minivan.
Yeah.
You never really know what you're going to get.
Sometimes you get band equipment in the back. You got to push drum sets around. You got to work with what you got.
So, but this one had a nice hotel shuttle. Super nice driver. We did have to schedule it for the next morning, and it was just us and one other person on it for that morning. Uneventful. Crashed. What did we eat? What did we eat that night?
I swear we ate.
Pizza. It was that takeout pizza. We were going to the pizza place, and it was a takeout pizza place.
Oh, man, this is the second time I've screwed this up. So, I'm looking for highly ranked pizza places to try the local pizza. And sometimes my brain, it doesn't work. Doesn't work right. I didn't consider... the menu looked... They had a full menu.
Yeah.
And it was a takeout pizza place.
Yeah. But they had a picnic table outside, so we sat there and ate it.
They did. It was rather nice.
Yeah. It was good.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right. So the Grand Rapids Airport. You got any stories about the Grand Rapids Airport?
No.
Yeah. You had a good flight home? I went home and I was so tired I had to take a nap.
Yeah, I had to go to the office to get my computer, which I had left there over the weekend. So went to the office to get computer and then went home. I did not get a nap, but I really wanted one. So
it was a much better weekend than the previous weekend.
Yeah,
the previous weekend was just So we're getting used to these. So I'm thinking, since we're getting used to these, I know that for this coming weekend we only had one scheduled, but why don't we do two?
I said I was wanting to go from California to Maine. I think we can make that happen for you.
maybe we can go from Tennessee to Maine.
Well, that feels like a spoiler.
Well, it is a spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
So stay tuned. Next week, learn about how our race in California was canceled, and we ended up with 2 races on the schedule.
Oh, man.